Okay, so I'm really excited because today marks the first prop review of 2022 on my channel. I'm going to be reviewing this. I remember I made this back in 2020, and it was actually a little more dumbed down version, but nonetheless was still pretty cool looking. I think it was even more accurate than this, as far as I know, because I didn't use hot glue. Instead I used tape and stuff. I had to conjoin like cardboard pieces, the slabs of cardboard and stuff, so that kind of sucked. So this is basically a revamped version of this, but in a even better thing. So let's get on with the video. What's going on, guys? It is Jay here. Welcome back, guys, to my first prop review of 2022. So today, guys, I'm going to be reviewing the Westar 35 blaster pistol, which is pretty famous amongst Mandalorians, and I just realized that a little bit of this is paint from not even that long ago. Like right there, there's paint on my fingers and everything, dude. This just goes to show how long this actually literally took me one night, maybe a night and a few hours to paint, because I wanted to get this thing done within a day to prove that this thing is really easy to make. Yeah, so with that being said, let's begin. The Westar 35 is manufactured by the Concordian Crescent Technlogies, aka the CCT, which I like to call a lot. And it's a pretty cool blaster pistol. It's beloved by Mandalorians who use blasters and whatnot. It's used by Mandalorian police. It's used by some of the most famous Mandalorians. I'm going to recap everything I said from my last prop review I did. I actually watched my original prop review I did of this before, and I'm going to be saying a lot more things that I said in that prop review. And it is mainly used by some of the most famous Mandalorians: Gar Saxon, Fenn Rau, Sabine Wren, Pre Vizsla, Bo-Katan. Every single one of those Mandalorians who use this gun. Now, the only one that's pretty unique out of all of those is Sabine Wren's Westar 35s, which I'll put on the screen right now. Unlike the other Westar 35 models, they all shoot yellow or blue bolts. Yellow is the more higher quality gas, and blue better, higher calibration or higher ionization in your shots. Basically more reserved for droids. And green gas, I've never seen a Westar 35 fire green gas, green blaster bolts. Maybe because that is probably impossible to do. And apparently I also found the cost of the Westar 35, which might shock some of you, because this looks like your average blaster pistol may cost about maybe 500 credits. But I will discuss more about that in a minute. And I just now realize that this piece right here is loose, and I might need to patch it up with some hot glue so that way it stays in place. So yeah, Sabine Wren's blaster pistols, or her Westar 35s, are actually different from the mainstream ones, because those fire red bolts, which you don't typically see a Westar 35 shoot. They usually fire yellow bolts and whatnot, but for Sabine, that is a different story. And apparently her versions of the Westar 35s work underwater, as seen on the Wikipedia for the Wikipedia page for the Westar 35. And I gave mine a nice paint job of its own. I wanted these pieces, like the grips and the front, to be silver, but I felt that would have taken a lot more time and whatever. So I went on ahead and just did this pavement color, which I think suits the gun a little better. It looks like this in my hand. It has no sights. Probably the reason why they dual wield them prominently, because you wouldn't want an ADS with a gun that has no sights, that has no iron sights. Then the closest thing probably to the iron sights is the Mandalorians when they wear the helmets, so they won't need to have to do this and aim. They can literally just do this, and their helmet will provide iron sights for them, which I really do think it is, because Sabine's helmet does the exact same thing from what I just said. But since that she dual wields them, they have apparently, when her helmet is on, they tell her how many shots that she has left in her blasters, and when she is not wearing her helmet, the gun vibrates when to let you know how much ammo, or that you're close to you're low on ammo. I can't get the words out. So it's perfect for twirling your finger and whatever. It's pretty slow, actually. I can twirl other guns on my fingers a lot faster. But yeah, guys, also, if you guys are wondering why I'm over here, I'm changing locations now in terms of where I want to have my prop reviews at. I went from over there to over here, so this will be my new spot. I might have to probably give me a little bit of tape, a little bit of tape over here or something, bring it out here from side of time so that I can set my props up here and whatnot. And due to the fact that this blaster is really kind of a blaster on its own, I'm gonna give this its own prop review, not have it compared to any weapons or anything. They compared it to some weapons before, but this is exclusive. So Yeah, and if I had to say, also, it is also used by the Mandalorians, which are Darth Maul's, or say Maul's, basically his grunts in a way, where they also do wield these guns prominently. They're wielded by Sabine's family. They're wielded by her mom and her brother. And as far as I know, her dad did not use these, because I'm assuming he didn't really resort to violence or anything like that. But he didn't use a blaster, as far as I know. And yeah, her family, they all use them because, you know, they're Mandalorians or whatever. Funny enough, there are some Mandalorians out there who actually only have one of these. But due to the fact that maybe I want to know if there's anyone else out there who is not a Mandalorian and has one of these. So, before I continue, I want to tell you guys the cost of this weapon in the Star Wars lore. The cost of this in the Star Wars lore is 1,200 credits, which is really expensive for a blaster pistol. That's like 200 credits more than an E11, which costs 1,000 credits. So basically you'd be better off buying an E11 in terms of price, because I mean it uses yellow and blue gas, you know, yellow and blue Sabine gas, which maybe that's why it's so expensive, because of its gas type, I guess. Because, you know, it uses some high quality gas, and more higher quality gas means higher cost, I guess. I don't know how much Sabine got hers, because they fire red bolts. I'm assuming she got hers for maybe about 800, maybe 900 credits on the black market, maybe. But I don't know where you buy a blaster pistol at, or just a blaster in general. Like, where do you buy that? A pawn shop, or like at the black market? I do know a lot of people buy them at the black market, hence why a lot of the weapons in Star Wars, a lot of the blasters look either modified, or some look brand new, because they probably buy them from a pawn shop, maybe. But yeah, I was gonna wear Ketsu's jacket, which is my Star Wars character, Ketsu Doc Silver. I was gonna wear his jacket and have his gun on him, because yes, he, in my series, or my little bitty series I'm doing, yes, he did use a Westar 35 at one point, because it was the only weapon he could get his hands on, because his other blaster was taken from him, so he had to use this. And the only other person in actual Star Wars lore and canon that I actually know who uses this, or he uses at least once, actually no, there's two people, is Captain Rex when he lost his DC-17s, which I'm assuming were on the ship of the Ghost and Rebels. Sabine gave him one of her Westar 35s, and she said, because they were shooting at spiders, and this gives me Apex Legends vibes now that I'm thinking about that, because of the spiders you have to shoot in a storm point. But she said aim for the eyes, and then he took the gun and he started shooting them. And it was also used by Hondo Ohnaka, which was in the first episode of season 3 of Star Wars Rebels. He used these because he had no other gun, and Sabine was like, here, make yourself useful. And I forgot how she did. I think she said like this. Yeah, I think she pulled them, she spun them on her finger, and then she did this and gave it to him. And he's like, oh, Mandalorian, I can give a lot of these on the black market. My Hondo Ohnaka impression is really bad. But yeah, and no, I did not make these because of the Mandalorian. The Mandalorians with Westar 35s are retarded looking. I do not like those. I like the ones in the Clone Wars more, actually, because I like the ones in Rebels too. It's just that the ones in the Clone Wars, they look more realistic, because there's a picture of a clone, or not clone, of a Mandalorian holding a gun up to the camera like this, you know. And yes, I will be doing a shooting test, and yes, it will be out here. This is my personal little bitty field for like blaster tests or whatever, even since they're not real, of course. But yeah, dude, that's the Westar 35. Like, that's really all that there is to it. And yes, actually, I forgot to say, Ezra Bridger, he did use a Westar 35 in season 3. Yes, when they were on the planet, when they were on Mandalore, or whatever the planet was. I think it was on one of their moons. And he used one of these, I'm assuming because his blaster pistol got taken from him, of course. And I'm assuming he either like borrowed it from a Mandalorian, or he picked it off the ground, I guess, because I don't know. But I do know he was holding a gun like this, and you know, he threw Sabine his lightsaber. Yeah, those are like really the only few people that I actually knew who uses the Westar 35 that's not a Mandalorian. One who doesn't use it, who is a Mandalorian, is Djarin, which is, you know, or Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian. He's probably the only Mandalorian that I know who doesn't use this, because everyone else, like Bo-Katan and her crew and the Mandalorian, they do use the Westar 35, but they're literally made off of what looks to be a airsoft version of a Colt M1911, or like a modernized version of it with that skeletonized trigger. And they just look so retarded. They don't look anything. I know they're not supposed to look anything like their counterpart, like what they look like on like TV, on like animated TV shows. But dude, like, I do not like those versions. And yeah, they might look cool to some people, but they're not my taste, dude. I like the originals better. Man, a whole lot of pieces here need to be patched up. But, I mean, this literally took a whole night to make. I started this sometime maybe around 12, 1 in the morning, and I went to sleep around 4 in the morning. And so it took me maybe about a good 3 hours to make. And I can safely assure you guys that this is probably one of my best blaster builds to date, even more than the DL-18, which is my favorite blaster pistol. So, yeah, and I should have brung that out here, because out of all the weapons out of all the gun weapons I've made, I've only made 2 blaster pistols, the DL-18 and the Westar 35. I was planning to make the DL-21 blaster pistol, but I've tried so many times to make that blaster, and it is not, and my traces and like my cutouts of it were not good enough for my standards. So I just went on ahead and just scrapped the idea and like, screw it, I'm not making a DL-21, I'm gonna make a different blaster. And I tried making a Westar 35 multiple times at one point, but now I finally made it. Now if you guys are wondering why it's yellow, not because my RE45 I painted that yellow, that's not the reason why. The reason why I painted it yellow is because it just looks cool. I could have painted this green, I could have painted this orange, I could have painted this purple, or if I still have my white paint, I could have painted it white, but you know, I really wanted this to be yellow. And also because there's a Mandalorian, like a little, I call this guy the yellow Mandalorian, and here he is on the screen. That is who he is. It's actually from a con. It was just of a guy with yellow Mandalorian, like shoulder armor, helmet, you know, chest plates, you know, leg armor and stuff. And he had some sort of like, you know, like some sort of what looks like a flame retardant suit on. And you know, he had all that stuff, and bro, I got obsessed with that, so I had to make a yellow Westar 35. Now, obviously it's possible for a non-Mandalorian to own a Westar 35, but you know, I'm pretty sure it's not really common to see a person or like a bounty hunter or like a spacer or a criminal to have one of these as their primary sidearm or primary weapon. Also, if you guys are wondering what the Westar 35 succeeds, it succeeds the Westar 20, which is a blaster pistol that preceded the Westar 34, which is also the gun that the Westar 35 would succeed. I keep on saying proceed. The Westar 35 would also succeed the Westar 34, which was used by Jango Fett and was also used by Boba Fett sometime in the Clone Wars, and apparently was also used by other like members of other Mandalorians, you know. Yeah, that's really about it about the Westar 35. And yes, it makes it look like it's all one solid piece. Like, that's just how it is here. It looks like it's one solid piece because, you know, apparently the Mandalorians don't really care about nooks and crannies, so they decided to make the gun look like it's like one solid piece, which is pretty cool in terms of practicality. But you know, I do love me some other blasters that you know, because your gun does need to get dirty every once in a while when you're in combat or when you're just like test firing it or whatever. It does need to get dirty every once in a while, which I'm pretty sure all their guns do. But some dirt needs to lie in there to let you know that you've been in some battle. Like there needs to be some dirt lying into your blaster to let people know that, oh yeah, I've been in a battle before, dude. I've been in one. So that's why I like blasters that have like nooks and crannies. But this one is unique. Okay, the design of the Westar 35 is really, really freaking unique. And do I like it? Yes, hell yes I do. I love me some Westar 35. And if they had them if they had them in Battlefront 2, like as a weapon that you can use like with the officers or something like that, I would play the game. Like, because I don't play the game anymore, mainly because I don't have PlayStation Plus. And even if I did have PlayStation Plus, I wouldn't play the game even though I bought it for like $20. I only play the games like play against bots because I just feel like it, and I don't feel like going against real players. Because as far as I know, Battlefront 2 community is actually really toxic. Actually, I think that's with every video game community that's an FPS shooter. Yes, I know how it is because I am in the Apex Legends community, and I know how toxic it can be for some dumb reasons, actually. So that is really it. And the car is turning on over there. Mom's about to leave. She's going to leave out for work. So that's really about it for the Westar 35, and we can go on and move on to the shooting test. Let me show you guys the design a little bit. So let me show you guys what it looks like in my hand. This is what it looks like in my left hand. Looks pretty weird, you know, pretty okay. This is what it looks like in my right hand, my dominant hand. And just like the Westar 35, you have vent holes, which I'm assuming is to vent out extra gas when you fire, in case you fire too many shots at once. I don't know how pressure sensitive the Westar 35's trigger is. I'm assuming it's pretty light because on how fast you can cycle the shots. But you have vent holes here. You have vent holes right here, actually. You can't really see that because it's in like that. So Yeah, and also this is what it looks like when I'm holding it or like aiming it at someone, like this maybe, like that. And yeah, and when I aim it like this, it literally looks pretty small. And just to prove that there's no sights in this thing, there literally is no sights. You would aim down this way to get more accuracy. Sorry about that. But you would aim this way to get more accuracy with your weapon. But due to the fact that there's no sights on a Westar 35, I'm assuming, mainly it's because I heard that Mandalorians are like those type of warriors or type of fighters who like to get up in your face, so that way, you know, when, like, that's the reason why they have blaster pistols as their main weapons, because they want to get up in your face, and so that way they can kill you in the best way possible, which is basically to shoot you in the face. Like, that's really why I like the Westar 35. It's such an up close and personal weapon. This is what it looks like when I hold it two-handed, even though Mandalorians or most people hold it or use it one-handed. I'm assuming due to low recoil. Yes, blasters do have recoil. That's what it looks like when I hold it one-handed. That's what it looks like when I hold it Apex Legends style, like with most of the semi-automatic pistols, or with the main two base pistols, RE and P20. This is what it looks like, and this is what it looks like when I'm holding it like this, like the Wingman and Mozam. That's what it looks like, and this is what it looks like when I'm holding it like this, like when I have my fingers up here with my thing, and my thumb is like this. I like using it one-handed. It looks even cool. So, let's get on with the shooting test. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see me because I can't see myself in the camera, because I usually record in selfie mode when I do prop reviews and shooting tests for the prop reviews, but the sun is kind of getting blocked by the clouds, so thank God that's a little bit promising, I guess. So I also forgot to mention the fire modes of the Westar 35. There's obviously a single fire mode, and apparently there's a stun setting to the Westar 35, so I guess I'll test that as well. I don't know how you access it, I'll just pretend. Apparently, Sabine's Westar 35 is actually, oh my God, please don't fall, camera. Oh God, the wind's blowing. But apparently Sabine's Westar 35s actually have a burst fire mode, which is pretty interesting. Like, they're burst fire pistol, like a burst fire pistol, which is pretty cool, because you don't really see them in real life, except for probably the Beretta M93Rs, but we don't talk about that right now. Alright, so apparently there's also a way you can remove the power packs. Like, they're literally like a modern day pistol, where basically you like pop that out and you can get a new mag and just insert it, basically a new power pack, like reloading a handgun in real life. But we're not going to do that due to the fact that most of the time blaster pistols overheat. Just blasters in general, they usually overheat, and you don't really need to replace the power pack unless you're out of ammo, you know. But since it is usually overheats, we're not going to do that. So that being said, Jigsaw. So we're going to do this first. Also, I don't know what blaster noise I'm going to use, because I'm really kind of indecisive, let's just say, on what blaster noise I want to use. So I'll know when I edit it. Alright, that was the first run. I just pointed a gun towards my face. Okay, let's not do that again. Now, let's set it to stun mode. How do you do that exactly? We'll just pretend. Alright. Hope the camera doesn't fall for this. Alright, so yeah, that's what stun mode. I need to test this on somebody, but I don't have anyone to test this on. So I guess that's really it for that. Yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for my prop review today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is my first prop review for 2022, so if some things seem a little off, and I might, you know, since I'm in a new location now, so I literally only just switched from over there to over here now, and I'm going to be recording over there when I do prop reviews. That's if I have a chance. So yeah, with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. If you guys want your own Westar 35, it's really easy to go on Etsy or something like that, or like, you know, like a prop website or something. I'm about to say prop shop, but that was going to rhyme, and I don't want that to rhyme. So like a prop website maybe, and you can find these. There's someone on Etsy that are like $20 and are like 3D printed, instead if you don't want them made out of cardboard, which I'm pretty sure some people might not like. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.